Dire Wolf Show, where we believe that America is exceptional and that our constitutional rights should never be infringed. I am Dire Wolf. On our show, we bring you the truth and debunk fake news. If you love laughing at the insanity of the regressive left, sit back and relax. Boy, do I have a show for you. Welcome back, Wolfpack. Dire Wolf here for our weekly news recap behind enemy lines on YouTube, for now, where speech is not free and the truth is demonetized. Alongside me is my co-host and producer, Fox Trevize.
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
I assumed you know the question. So what new horrors in audio do you have for us today?
I think just the standard that you're a little bit loud and I'm a little bit quiet, but I think that's about it.
I might just be a loud person.
This is true.
All right. So I want to thank everyone who makes this show possible. You know, you guys are the sponsors. Those who support us financially, I want to give you a special thank you. So that's thank you to Ori Main, Nathan, Cameron, Tetris Freak, Slowpoke, Golem, Lone Fury, Thundra, Erican, who is female, Strongarm, Hellraiser Zalon, and the White Lion. Also, I see Jordan of Shadow Lightning out there. Hello to you as well. I see you commenting on both YouTube and DLive.
How dare you?
How dare you? Also, hello to you, Shadow Wolf. And a special thank you to Timberwolf, who helps run our Discord and is on the show all the freaking time.
This is true.
Now, if you don't support us financially, there's still a great way you can help us, and we very much appreciate it. And that's simply by watching our content and giving us a share. So as you guys know, YouTube and other platforms are not doing a great job at sharing our content in case the YouTube is trying to suppress us by any means.
Suppress is a nice way of saying murder.
Murder our channel. It's only a matter of time before they close it down. So what you can do to help our channel grow is to take a few moments and go and hit that share button. It's a small act, very little time out of your day, but it really has a big impact for us, so we appreciate that. Keep in mind, for this last show of this month, donations done through Streamlabs.
Last show of this year, too.
Yeah, of this year as well. Any donations on Streamlabs where you say Operation Homefront in the comment will be donated to, guess what? Operation Homefront. I know that was a shocker. It's a great charity. I suggest you guys, if you don't want to give to us, please give to them. On a side note, I have a bottle of Jack Daniels here. $20 for a drink. I'll do it. Don't challenge me.
When did that happen? Did I miss that?
I had a rough day.
All righty. Not a problem, then.
If you want to help me self-medicate irresponsibly.
Yes. Yeah, does that go down real good with antibiotics?
No.
Fair enough. Well, I don't know about self-medication, but how about some more pain by jumping into our first story?
Which is on you.
It is on me. Okay. I was waiting for a yes, so I didn't want to just do it without without getting your confirmation. Okay.
Well, my consent. That's so nice. You want it in hand?
Yes, I need affirmative consent before, during, and after. And if you change your mind after, that's okay.
Right. You better keep really good copies of these consent forms.
I believe that's in my contract somewhere. Anyways, our first story. Oh boy, the Democrats, they said something. What is it that they said? They said that it is immoral. Oh God, this is going to start out really great. The Democrats talking about morality, I can't imagine how this could possibly go wrong. All right, so the Democrats said that it is immoral to accept donations from the rich while they routinely accept donations from the rich. Wow, they even got a twist of hypocrisy in there. Delicious. During the sixth impeachment, or I don't know why my brain just
That wasn't written there at all.
Yeah, that was. I don't even know what happened. My brain literally just put in impeachment because that's the only other thing that's been happening as many times as these Democrat elections, and they're they're about as interesting. Maybe I'm drunk. I don't know.
Yeah, are you sure you're not drunk? It sounds like you might have been pre-gaming a little bit.
I'm not sure that I'm not drunk.
Fair enough.
During the 6th Democrat primary election debate, the biggest issue after impeachment was campaign donations by the rich. The Democrats spend a sizable proportion of the debate attacking each other over either being wealthy or being supported by wealthy elites. Here is a clip of a few of their exchanges.
So the mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that. He had promised that every fundraiser he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision many years ago that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Mayor, your response. You know, according to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. So if this is important. This is the problem with issuing purity tests you cannot yourself pass. If I pledge never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine. Now, supposing that you went home feeling the holiday spirit, I know this isn't likely, but stay with me, and decided to go on to PeteForAmerica.com and give the maximum allowable by law, $2,800. Would that pollute my campaign because it came from a wealthy person? No, I would be glad to have that support. We need the support from everybody who is committed to helping us defeat Donald Trump.
I love how he shielded himself.
Rather proud, maybe, I don't know, the only candidate up here doesn't have any billionaire contributions. But you know what I do have? We have received more
Be gone from me, you soy boy beta cup. The transaction is complete.
Dyer,
I love you.
he loves you, Dyer. Jordan of Shadow Lightning just donated $20. So you get your first, which is probably not your first, shot of Jack.
You know me too well.
Alrighty. I did like I do like, I wish I might actually go back and rewatch some of that debate because I'm curious how Warren brought that back from his response of, you know, your net worth is 100 times mine, where I thought he was going with saying, well, you could donate to me.
It was a shill in the middle of making a point. He himself.
It was a great shill. But what I thought he would be making would be, you know, you could, you know, as somebody who has 100 times my net worth, you could make that donation and not even feel it. That's how rich you are. Whereas me and the people that are in my income bracket, which is most of Americans, most of the middle class, we can't do that. And so, you know, to get someone like us, someone who's in that income bracket onto this stage, it does require those types of campaign events where you're getting, you know, $900 bottle things or, you know, very expensive plates. And for Warren, for her to pretend that none of her income has come from literally all the highest income brackets of America, you know, what she hasn't made on book deals and speeches that are probably not that great. She's made it through lying about her genetics to get a place in Harvard and to collect money from the nation's 1% children. So,
and she's offered dinners before with like $1,000 a plate dinners for just the rich. She is the height of hypocrisy for her to complain about the $900 bottles of wine, which, by the way, is at least, you know, 100 times what I'd be willing to pay for a bottle of wine. I'm cheap.
But Pete's gay. I mean, they probably have really good wine.
Right. Because I assume the gays have good wine.
Yes. Fantastic taste.
That's so, but it's height of hypocrisy because they regularly do events where they have dinners for the rich, and then she's complaining about wine.
Timber, you did not really miss where Dyer announced that he was doing a drinking stream. I did not even know that we were doing a drinking stream until after we started stream, which precluded me from participating. unless Dyer wants to pause and take over for a minute, and I'll go run and grab a beer. Well, we'll do that after we watch this the rest of this clip here. But yeah, that's the hypocrisy is very, very palpable.
Sorry, my wife came in and asked me a question that. Oh, you started the video.
That's okay. I wasn't just talking to you for like 30 seconds. I'll continue on in shame.
Candidate in the history of the United States of America at this point in an election, averaging $18 apiece. Now, there's a real competition going on up here. My good friend Joe, and he is a good friend, he's received contributions from 44 billionaires. Pete, on the other hand, is trailing, Pete. You only got 39 billionaires contributing. So, Pete, we look forward to you. I know you're an energetic guy and a competitive guy to see if you can take on Joe on that issue. But what is not a laughing matter, my friends, this is why 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half. This is why Amazon and other major corporations pay 0 in federal taxes. We need to get money.
Where are the moderators? Where are the moderators with the fact checking? The moderators have, huh?
That's not even related at all.
Yeah, the moderators, they have got no problem jumping in to make sure the world knows that Hunter Biden did absolutely nothing wrong. They've got no problem jumping in to spew out false information about the Russia collusion or to say false things about Trump when he was on the stage in 2016. They've got no problem going after, like Tulsi and Yang. They've got no problem doing that. But when
Benghazi.
Yeah, when you've got these people who have been in government or in elite schools, elite academia, where again, Warren is pulling in money off the backs of the children of the 0.01 percenters, because it's very obvious that the barrier to entry to go to Harvard is not your intelligence. It's either your minority status or your wealth status. It's got nothing to do with intelligence anymore. Hasn't for a long time. But all of these people who have made their money out of just getting it from other rich people, not from having built companies. Certainly not on the Democrat stage. Not on this stage. And they're just going after this guy who, I'm not a Pete Buttigieg shill or supporter or anything like that, but the guy is solidly middle class. He, and I don't think that the argument that he's...
Be gone from me, you soy boy beta cop. The transaction is complete.
All right,
Two more shots, Dyer.
Timber says, 2 more shots, Dyer. Drink up.
All right.
Operation Homefront or Operation Dyer on the floor?
Let's see what happens first.
But yeah, you got Buttigieg, and I don't think that the argument that he's he's just not good at making money, that's a qualification, is that you're not good at building something that makes a lot of money. Yeah, that's not really the greatest qualification either. But you've got these people who have made their wealth off of the millionaires and billionaires that they supposedly hate so much. And, you get a small handful of millionaires and billionaires that donate the, $2,000 that they can possibly donate to Buttigieg. And all of a sudden it's worthy of minutes and minutes and minutes of time during this debate. I'm sure that the 70 Americans that watched this debate, I'm sure that they felt very informed about who they should be voting for. Not based off of anybody's policy positions, but off of berating a middle-class guy for getting a $2,000 donation from somebody who has $1 billion of net worth. I'm sure that really informed their decision.
Right. Also, I am confused about how people, billionaires and millionaires, donating the maximum amount, which for individual is $2,800. Somehow that is what leads to corporations like Amazon not paying taxes. And I'm assuming that's a very general thing to say, because Amazon does, like every company, have to pay taxes. Maybe there was a time, maybe there's a year or a period where they had tax breaks, plus they had losses that they were
soy boy
writing
beta
off.
cock. The transaction is complete.
What?
Half. Why do you guys keep talking about the Democrats' campaign to get Trump reelected?
That was Shadow Wolf. I think he was making fun of us for talking about the Democrat debates that are largely irrelevant.
Be gone from me, you soy boy
he
beta
gave
cock.
you-
The transaction is complete.
He gave you
Operation
$20,
Get Dyer drunk and unconscious starts soiling up your next Foxman.
and then
Drink up
Holy
Dyer.
shit.
Slowpoke just gave $10, which I think goes to me to get drinking, which means I gotta go grab something to drink.
I'll do my paragraph, and
Yeah,
then you can
I'll,
do your drink.
I'll be back here shortly.
Fair enough. What was the other donation though?
The other one was that was Slowpoke and Shadow Wolf. So Shadow Wolf gave $20, Slowpoke gave 10.
So I got a drink for Shadow Wolf then.
He said half and half, so I think you gotta take a half shot, and then I need to take a full something, probably a whole beer. I'll go for a beer there.
Okay, half shot.
All right, I'll be back.
Half shot completed. No spent rounds. Anyways, so I don't. He's making a general statement that Amazon doesn't pay taxes. That's not true. He might be able to point to an individual moment in time or situation where, because of rules that everyone else is living by, they either had losses like that, like the story with Trump. Trump's company bankrupted, lost money, and because of that loss in money, he's able to write that off on the, taxes for a few years, right? Now, so it's possible that Amazon during that period may have not paid taxes, but it's not because Amazon's not paying taxes. It's because they're using tax breaks that everyone else has available, the same rules that everyone else has available to them. They're still paying taxes. Regardless, someone making a donation to a campaign of $2,800 because they can afford that doesn't result in tax law that is put in place by the House of Representatives and the Senate, like Bernie Sanders.
You know what I think it is? I think that it was Bernie, since he's been in Congress for, I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think it's been almost 50 years, hasn't it?
He's been in for a metric fuck ton.
Yeah, I think that Bernie is looking at the situation thinking, well, I know I've been paid off over the last 50 years by people to make sure that I am putting into the tax code tax breaks for them. So that must be what everybody else is doing too.
Yeah, but those two statements, that one statement of those two facts are in no way connected to each other. And yet no one's going to call them out on it. Because that's like, oh yeah, damn the rich. You know, them and their money, how dare they, blah, blah, blah. All right, so moving on.
Yep.
Sanders made the very misleading
Get to your paragraph.
No. Sanders made the very misleading and notably highly specific claim that no other campaign has raised as many small donations as he has, with the average of $18. He specified the average of $18 for two reasons. First, because his campaign is far from the leader in small donations. According to the FEC regulations, campaigns are not required to report the individual info of people who donate less than $200 in total over any number of separate transactions in a year. These are considered small donations. So far, Bernie's campaign has raised $73.7 million over the life of the entire campaign, of which 42.9 came from small donations. That's about 57% of his donations. That's pretty good. As a comparison, though, Trump has raised $79.3 million in small donations alone. Trump has raised more in small donations alone than Bernie's entire campaign, making up 37.6% of Trump's funding. So Bernie may have the most small donations with an average of $18, but he doesn't have the most small donations at the same point in the campaign as Trump.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Lie.
I'm for the audience's knowledge. I am drinking Dragon's Milk, which is an 11%. The New Holland Brewing one. It is delicious. It is a bourbon barrel, which I'm sure will end out just as well as Dyer's 3.5 shots of Jack.
Or wait, 3? Yeah, you're right. 3.5. I can't count.
That means it's working.
Fuck myself. I just did 4.
There you go. When the bottle's done, you don't need to count anymore. All right.
Halfway through.
The second reason that he made this very specific claim was because it is unverifiable. The government doesn't track the total annual donations from any individual below $200, so there is no government data to check. Trump made the same claim during the 2016 election, claiming his average donation was $20. In both cases, the campaigns are the source of the information. They are only tracking this information. They're the only ones tracking this information, so we have to take their word for it.
Hey, what's the best thing about lying about something that can't be verified?
You can't get caught.
There you go. It's a great strategy, really.
Yes.
It's honest, but it's hard to get caught.
It wouldn't be politics if it was honest.
Right. Though I'm more likely to believe Trump, just because of the sheer quantity of his donations. And then again, the whole thing says they only say up to 200. It doesn't matter how many transactions leads to 200. You could literally make 199 donations of $1, and they would not release your information, wouldn't have to report it. And that means you just ruined their average,
Or you've helped it, depending on how you're looking at it.
Regardlessly, you've changed it, right?
Yes.
So the average is kind of worthless. So all of this infighting is predicated on the assumption that donations from the rich are inherently bad. This assumption suggests falsely that every time someone is given financial support, that they are now beholden to those that donate to them.
Again, maybe the Democrats are, but...
maybe. It also gives the false impression that billionaires or corporations are able to completely fund a campaign. They get that impression because Democrats outright say that for some reason. Though it's not true, it's a lie. You should probably point it out next time someone says it. That person's campaign is completely funded by corporations and the rich. Each of them can only make donations of $2,800 a piece. So they must have a lot of rich people making those donations.
I certainly don't think what I'm about to say is a unique observation, but I still find it absolutely hilarious. The Democrats, they are continuously pointing out each other because they cannot stop rich people from being just drawn to the Democrat Party to donate to them in droves, hoping to get some kind of benefit from it. And so much so that the Democrats can spend their most of their debate pointing at each other, saying, "Well, you've got billionaires," and the other goes, "You've got billionaires too." They're both pointing at each other. Meanwhile, almost all the rich people in America hate Trump. We hear this over and over again from all of the rich and famous people. There's very, very few rich, famous people who are openly supporting Trump. Whereas you have droves, campaign commercials where you've got, 30, 40 people all saying the same sentence over and over again because they love that format. They think it really drives home the point if you've got 30, super wealthy Hollywood actors all saying the same thing over and over again. They must really mean it. That must have just naturally happened. But you've got all of these rich people who want nothing to do with Trump. They absolutely hate him. And then you've got all of them going over to the Democrats, and the Democrats meanwhile are saying, well, any campaign that's being run by the rich people, that's bad. Well, I guess Trump's your guy then.
Exactly. So the truth is that the FEC limits the size of donations for individuals, corporations, and private organizations to any one candidate. So if you look at the graph we have on the screen right now, you can see that an individual can only donate $2,800 per election per candidate per year, and candidate committee. So it can only do 2,000. One of those super PACs that is multi-candidate can only do 5,000 per an election. PAC that is not multi-candidate, so it's a PAC for a single candidate, can only receive a donation for 2,800, and a party committee can do 5,000 per an election combined. So, as you see, no one rich person or really rich corporation can just buy out an entire campaign and pay all their expenses. That's not how it works. And they keep saying it like that's a fact, but it's not how that works.
For comparison, the Wolfpack has no limits on how many campaign donations we can receive.
I do
so
only
keep
have
them
two
coming.
bottles of Jack. I do only have 2 bottles of Jack. The first one is only 375 milliliters and is currently halfway down. Not doing
Yeah,
the
but
math.
we both know if you get to the end of that, it doesn't matter how many donations are coming in, you're not responding to them.
True.
Because you'll be on the floor.
True.
Do you at least lock the door so the dogs can't come lick you?
That's a great idea. 1 second.
Oh, damn it. You're supposed to say no. All right. Anyways, I will move along. Otherwise, we will never get through this show. AOC is...
my own prison of alcohol.
AOC is another Democrat that has regularly attacked other Democrats and Republicans for accepting donations from the rich and corporations. She calls this dark money, which is a complete misuse of the term, and I'm pretty sure that's racist. Is that not racist? Why?
Yeah, I mean,
why
it's
can't
not
it just
white money.
Why can't it be money of color? Isn't it?
Yeah. We're not saying black anymore. We're dark.
That's
Jeez.
man.
So dark money refers to like when someone is making, so they're in government and they arrange for a deal or they pass a law that benefits a certain corporation where they have vested interest in that corporation or they have family members or associates that will then give them money as a kickback that's not in the books.
Like, for instance, if by chance a current presidential candidate, his son, was maybe getting money from a foreign corporation that may be in a country that has, you know, a lot of money contributed to it by American taxpayers, that maybe has some corruption issues, that maybe that particular candidate, should that candidate even exist in this hypothetical situation?
See, I heard of from a moderator during a debate once that was completely unfounded, and he wouldn't lie. All right, whoever that was, I don't know
if that story was true.
If that story was true,
yes.
Yeah.
Clearly, this was completely a hypothetical situation. This would never happen, especially in America. God damn it. Alrighty. Right. So AOC's also she's received the maximum after she's, lambasted everybody for getting money from big corporate donors. She has received the maximum legal donation of $2,800 from billionaire Tom Steyer.
Also running for president, by the way.
Yes, which is funny. I think he just did that just to screw with her, which is hilarious. If she thinks billionaire donations are so wrong, why is she accepting them? Trump needs to donate to all these guys. I mean, $2,800, $2,800, is that going to make or break either their campaigns or Trump's pocketbook? And it would be really funny for Trump to be like, whoever he goes up against in the general, he'd be like, I donated to your election. You receive big money from big billionaires like me.
I remember that AOC once was doing a hearing where she was it was some sort of corporation she was asking questions to, and she was with her line of questioning was assuming that money that had been donated to that corporation from other people, right? And that she was asking why were they being supported by white nationalists. Now, I'm going to just skip over her rationale of whoever was donating wasn't actually a white nationalist. She just made that assumption, right?
Yes.
And then she accused the corporation or company that had received the money that they must also have white nationalist leanings because they received money from someone that she perceives as being white nationalist. And they're like, I have no idea what we're talking about. We don't vet donations. And the irony is she doesn't either. You're not defined by who supports you, right? So it's kind of ironic that she regularly attacks people for who supports them, but then doesn't want to talk about it when someone that supports her that would make her look bad. In this case, she says that billionaires donating in politics is dark money and it should stop. And yet she has billionaires supporting her. So when she was asked about that donation, she said that she wasn't even aware of the donation. The situation proves that just because a billionaire makes a donation to a campaign, it doesn't mean the candidate's even aware of the donation, and certainly it doesn't mean that they now control the candidate. You don't control someone because you gave them $2,800 in politics. That's not a lot of money as far as a campaign is concerned. This also is a reminder to AOC that the maximum annual donation of $2,800 did not prevent any one person, or did not allow any one person to fund her campaign. This person, Steyer here, Tom Steyer, couldn't fund her campaign by himself if he wanted to.
And why would he want to? We are being informed by chat, by the way, by Jordan of Shadow Lightning, that if there is not the risk of the dogs coming in to lick your face, then it's not a fair.
Okay,
we feel like we're not getting our money's worth. Is basically what's going on.
All you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
And we've got Slowpoke donated $2. He says a racist's money. I missed it. Let me see.
Love of Sheba.
He says a racist's money is just as good as anyone else's. Doesn't mean I'll side with them. Alrighty. And so let's see here. So at the end of the day, it would be smart for the Democrats to stop complaining about millionaires and billionaires. Forbes published an article 2 years ago about how the Democrat Party has become the party of the rich. They attribute this to liberally educated heirs of the uber wealthy feeling guilty over unearned wealth, being willing to give up their wealth to support socialist policies. That sounds about right.
It might be part of the explanation. There's still some old dudes that are doing it. So, hey, don't know what your problem is. You worked for that money and they just want to give it away and also screw it for everyone else who wants to ever be like you. It's kind of selfish. So as the 2020 Democrat primaries have shown, the Democrat candidates are predominantly the uber wealthy, and all of their campaigns are dependent on in large part to wealthy donors. The Democrat Party is the party of the elite wealthy people. It is nonsensical and hypocritical for them to criticize the same wealthy elites they depend on and are.
For example, Bloomberg has spent over $100 million on anti-Trump TV ads in the battleground states. He has been buying up more ads each week. If he continues to do this up through the election, he is projected to spend well over $320 million on anti-Trump ads. These ads are not being treated as campaign donations to any one candidate, but will directly support the Democrat candidates in general.
Be gone from me, you soy boy beta cock. The transaction is complete.
Oh, man.
On the floor, Dyer, please space out a bit. Drink a bottle water first.
Timber says $40, 2 more shots. Do not drink any water under any circumstances. He wants to see you on the floor. I agree.
Okay. Right. 2 more shots. Wow. I have the best friends.
Yes. These ads are not being treated.
Started off as a joke, by the way.
Drink your medicine. And then, none of the Democrats are complaining about Bloomberg's giant donations, which actually on SNL last week, Bloomberg had bought a substantial amount of that from PBS, which the debate was hosted on. And so there was SNL kind of joked that PBS was now brought to you by viewers like me, which was Bloomberg's character saying that on SNL, which was pretty funny.
Ironic side note on this is because Bloomberg has bought so many ads, he's actually driven up the cost of ads in general, screwing the Democrats.
That is funny.
Yeah. Huh. So now anyone buying ads, not just political ads, but ads in general, are now more expensive. But that does affect all the other candidates who have very limited budgets. We're talking about people who have currently on hand money of less than $10 million or less than 5 million.
We're talking about a group of people who has a collection of all of them have less money on hand than Trump does.
Exactly. So now it's easier for Trump to make more ads than them.
Which also, in addition to the candidates not having a lot of money, the DNC, almost all of its money is earmarked towards debt. They're at net zero. They don't actually, their actual money on hand should be going to paying off their debt. Now, I know the Democrats don't understand that concept, but they have as much debt as they have money on hand, which means they've got nothing. Whereas the Republicans have... I don't remember how much the Republicans have. It was like in the 20 millions, and that was all completely undebted millions of dollars, which was great.
So why that's important is all of these smaller campaigns, not the presidential campaigns, they're funded by the party, right? These smaller campaigns in different districts, these people who are in the campaigns aren't as independently wealthy as, say, those who've been in the Senate and have taken advantage of it for such a long time, right?
And guess which party blew its wad last time around, getting a bunch of people elected to the House, and then threw it all away on impeachment with a bunch of people in swing states and swing districts who now need oodles and oodles of cash if they could ever possibly hope to get reelected next term. Guess which party that was?
Was the Green Party?
Yes.
Oh, it was Democrat Party.
Oh my God, it was the Democrat Party. That's crazy.
Oh my God, crazy.
Oh God, this is. Man, I wonder what'll happen to them when they have no money to campaign. A bunch of people are pissed at them, and then Republicans come back and say, "Hey, remember us? And we've got lots of money for ads."
What a twist!
I will. We'll close off the story with the quick analysis that the reason why ad prices are going to go up is because there's so much demand for them from people like Tom Steyer and Bloomberg. And, the only way to reduce that price again would be to increase the supply of ads. And Direwolf Media, we've got a political channel. If somebody would like to toss us, a couple million bucks for some ads, we'll play some ads on the channel.
Aren't you a dreamer?
Yeah. So we're doing our part to increase the supply. If anybody's out there, please. All right. Any other closing shots?
No.
All right.
I'm good.
All right, we're doing good. That was 42 minutes for one story, so I think
I'm doing really good.
We're on track. All right. We're on track for
one story. We're 42 minutes. God damn it.
Okay. Next story. Okay. So, where's the beef? The beef is still at Wendy's. But if you want some soy, Burger King has got you covered. Their recent release of the Impossible Whopper, which, as the name suggests, is not a thing that is possible to reproduce, at least not safely, that is. Now you have probably heard of the Impossible Whopper. It's BK's latest spin on the Impossible Burger, which is a meatless and presumably godless construct which mimics real beef. In simple terms, it's a trap. And not the good kind. I mean, what?
Hey. God, I feel like they keep trying to come up with an alternative meat that's just worse than just eating fucking meat. You're trying so hard, and you're failing so much worse than the original problem. If your solution is worse than the problem, if your solution to an infection is to give someone freaking cyanide, you've messed up. So the Impossible Whopper achieved some sensational notoriety this week after a supposed released a report saying that meatless patty contained 44 milligrams of estrogen. Again, that is 44 milligrams, not nanograms. Holy shit, of estrogen. Was it a white paste? They were eating the estrogen gel.
So we got up on the screen. You know what
a milligram looks like?
Yeah, so we got up on the screen here. We got a little comparison for you guys because I'm sure a lot of the American audience has no idea what the hell the metric system is. But you've got the milligram, which is not important to know how many of those are in a gram, because milligrams are a big unit for tonight. Then you got the microgram, which is a thousandth of a milligram. And then you've got the nanogram, which is a thousandth of the microgram. And so we got up on the screen, we got the milligram and the microgram for size comparison. The nanogram would be a sub pixel, so it's not on the screen.
So when you're talking about harmful substances, and generally when you're talking about estrogen in food, you're talking in terms of nanograms per ounces of meat, right?
Yes.
You aren't usually talking about milligrams. This is serious. Someone should be talking about this.
That's what we're doing.
Oh, here we are. Go on.
Why don't you go on?
Oh, okay. It is my part. The hormone replacement dosage. So for context, the hormone replacement dosage for a male to female transsexual is between 2 to 10 milligrams taken as a pill.
And again, the Whopper has 44 milligrams.
That is from 1/4 to 1/20th the amount in the burger. I guess if you just eat these burgers, you can do trans at home. The common birth control pills have about 20 to 50 micrograms. A microgram is a 20th of a milligram. Holy shit! You're not gonna have any babies while you eat these burgers either.
No, a microgram's a thousandth of a milligram. What script are you reading?
Not the same one. Holy shit! 1,000th of a milligram. So you're definitely not gonna get pregnant. This is a great birth control. It's probably less expensive than birth control. Just eat a bunch of Whoppers. Then again, if you eat a lot of Whoppers, I think your appearance will probably be its own birth control. So a Plan B pill contains about 100 micrograms of estrogen. For comparison, holy shit!
Yeah. So we got up on the screen here what the estrogen equivalents are. So you got birth control, little teeny tiny. Plan B is about 2 birth control pills. You got your maintenance dose for being a male to female transition. That's quite a bit of estrogen that you need just because you're not making it naturally. And then you've got the Impossible Whopper, which has a lot more in it. And so while consuming 440 times a Plan B dose worth of estrogen in a single burger may sound like a health crisis, or maybe a bargain if you're a glass half full kind of person, it is important for us to point out some flaws with this report. For one, this Dr. Fella is actually a veterinarian. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's not a people doctor, even if your dog thinks he is people. And the research he published had 0 citations and was printed in a cattle ranching trade magazine.
On a napkin.
Yes. Cattle ranchers have a very vested interest in trapped meat failing, and so it's really no surprise that they produced a sensationalized piece saying, this impossible meat is very dangerous. Please eat cows so that we don't all lose our jobs and starve to death.
Fair enough. Well, the intent of the article was to promote fear over the safety of the impossible meat. That does not mean that there is no reason to be cautious, because the reality is that the Impossible Whopper is impossibly packed with soy. Soy protein makes up the bulk of the Impossible Whopper structure. The chemical that makes it red and sometimes makes it bleed realistically comes from a yeast that was spliced with this soy DNA. So basically, it's a bunch of soy glued together with more soy.
The fact that it can bleed when you cook it is
all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
All right, here we go.
How dare you!
We got Slowpoke here, gave us $2, says, light bulb, a certain awoo could see this as a way to help people who want to be a certain way for a certain markup price. Yes, that is correct. BK is now, if you would like to be a male to female transition, just go get yourself some Whoppers. Good to go.
There you go.
Yeah, so I always found when the original Impossible Burger came out a few years ago, one of my vegan friends, which I know I don't know why I have a vegan friend. She was very excited about telling me that one of the big selling points from the inventor of it was that it's got this chemical in it that makes it red and it looks like blood when you cook it. It can bleed, and that was like a selling point. And I just thought it was absolutely hilarious that that vegans thought in their head that, oh, to get normal people to eat this meat, this fake meat, it needs to bleed. Because, as we all know, the only reason why normal people eat meat is because it bleeds, because we're all murderous psychopaths. What is wrong with you?
I know, jeez.
No wonder they look down on us. Jesus.
They think we just like killing. Jeez.
Is that you?
No.
Oh, there's a car alarm going off. I hope it's not mine. All right. I will go check on that in a second here, maybe. Anyways, this is a very high soy content. Anyways, the very high soy content from all of the soy products that are in the ingredients and soy derivatives that are gluing it all together. That is what I'm pretty sure the author was citing when he got to his 44 milligrams of estrogen. That's where he got his estimate from. It's important to note that he did not actually break down one of these burgers in a lab and test it for estrogen content. This is just his guess based off the soy content in the ingredients list, which is kind of a disappointing outcome. I was really hoping that when I dug into this, that there was some actual lab research done, that there would be some graphs and stuff to look at. And I think that this might prompt that, but at the end of the day, the reason why we're talking about this is because it got very, very sensationalized. There was a lot of articles about it, sensationalizing, oh my God, the Whopper is going to give you boobs, or, there's a lot of people saying like, oh, soy is actually really great for you, which is a lie. But the reason why we're doing this is just kind of go through to explain why it is still a problem that there's so much soy in this burger, but also that, this was kind of a clickbaity story that was getting a lot of traction, and we thought that we would bring you what the real story was. But I do hope that this prompts, because it got so much attention, I hope that it prompts somebody to actually take one of these patties and put it into some kind of science tube or something, whatever it is that they do.
A science tube.
I'm a computer scientist. I don't know what the biologists do. It's gross and it stinks.
I don't know. If I can't shoot it, I don't understand what it is.
There you go. Alrighty. You up, buddy?
Right. So, again, just because this estimate was sensationalized does not mean there is not some truth to it. The truth is that the Impossible Whopper is packed with soy, and that the truth is that the soy contains high concentrations of estrogen mimickers. Sorry. Wow. Mimickers. It's not even close to micro. This is according to a Harvard graduate medical school who also says that these estrogen mimickers do act as estrogen in the body and disrupt normal estrogen interactions. Harvard also says that the conflicting research on whether soy is beneficial or detrimental to health means that it cannot be promoted as a health food yet. So if Harvard isn't sure if it's safe to eat, why would we believe Burger King is?
That's a good question.
Or at least this burger. Or anything soy. Why are we eating soy in such high amounts? It's being advertised in all these different products. If we can't come to the simple conclusion to the question, is it safe to eat?
Subsidies. That's why. Anyways, the common meme that soy boys have had one too many soy lattes, and that has caused them to develop feminine characteristics as a result of all the estrogen mimickers that they are consuming. That's kind of a bro science that says that, soy is dangerous to your manhood. And there's a lot of jokes about that. It's typically countered by hippie science saying that populations that have historically consumed soy have better health outcomes. And while that might be true, which I haven't seen a lot of good data on that, which, to be honest, I haven't researched it that heavily. But, I think if that data was out there, then I think Harvard would have said, hey, it's actually safe to eat, but they didn't say that. But some of the major flaws that their argument has, when citing that there's these historic populations that have eaten a lot of soy and had good health outcomes, is that populations that historically ate soy were eating heirloom soy, not the current GMO soy that we have now. Now, that's not to say that GMO is bad. In fact, GMO is relatively a modern miracle. It's basically going to lick world hunger any year now. But the trade-off of being able to produce these super high yields in depleted soils with almost no water consumption is that we have soy that is missing a lot of the minerals and vitamins that would have otherwise been present in the wild soys of the past. So it's not really a fair comparison to say that modern soy, missing all of those vital nutrients because of being GMO, it's not really equivalent to say that you're going to have the same health outcome with that as you would with a natural soy that actually was able to pull in all of the micronutrients, like the vitamins and the minerals and stuff like that, and be a more complete food item. It's just not a fair comparison.
Right. There's also the fact that these historic populations of soy eaters would have evolved to process it better. I'm sure you're all aware how, like, certain parts of the world, the historic populations were better eating meat. Like in Europe, people had evolved to have more of an agrarian diet, and in Africa, people had evolved to have more of a meat-eating diet, and thus people in Africa who still have those genes, just because I'm not talking like your skin color is an identifier of whether you're African or not. The genes that affect the gut and what kind of stomach you have. If you are more better at processing meat, so you go to eat an agrarian diet, you'll get sick and might even die from doing that. Whereas if your stomach is more prone towards eating an agrarian diet, you try to eat just a high meat protein diet, you'll actually get very sick and could also die. So we see this with lactose intolerance. European populations evolved with their cows and developed an enzyme to help process lactose. African and South American populations did not have a domestic milk producers and still almost are mostly unable to process lactose. So while there may be health benefits to drinking milk for Europeans, it has a very negative health effect for everyone else. This may be true of soy as well.
Yeah, so if you can't process it, you're not really getting that health outcome. I don't think anyone would actually claim that the Whopper, the original Whopper, is any kind of health food or anywhere near that on the food spectrum. But yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. But even its Impossible Brother is still somehow less healthy than the original Whopper. Most of its calories come from very low quality oils like canola oils and just not good oils, very, very processed and not good stuff. And the protein content, while it says it's got 25 grams of protein, its protein content suffers from the exact same problem that all vegan food has, and that it is plant proteins that are not in a form that is readily usable by the human body. And that is because it's missing, it's too much food science to go into, but basically if you have proteins, there's different kinds of proteins. If you have them in the wrong ratio, you can only absorb it up to the point of the weakest part of that ratio. And so while there's 25 grams of soy protein in this burger, you can only actually absorb 10 grams of it. Whereas if this was animal protein, out of 25 grams of animal protein, I think you'd be able to absorb like 23 grams of it. So yeah, animal protein's much more readily processable by humans, and you just can't do that with these plant proteins. And that's why you have a lot of issues with people on vegan diets, because they're eating all this stuff that they can't process. Yeah, it's got all these nutrients in it. They're not available to you to actually utilize in your body. You're just crapping them back out.
Yep. Probably one of the best parts of the story is something that we noticed when reading BK's corporate website. Well, Oh, well, okay. I will wait and read that section first. This story was very clickbaity and it did its job by creating a sensationalized wave of stories about how the Impossible Whopper is going to give you man boobs. I am sure that the cattle industry is very pleased with the outcome, but that does not mean that there is nothing behind the sensationalism. Personally, I'm going to stick to eating possible burgers. I'm not really a big fan of eating anything that's impossible. I don't trust it. And stay away from these vegan science experiments, too.
I will also be staying away from these things as well, but I think the scariest part is that they really do look, smell, and taste like real burgers. And you might not realize that you're eating it. It's a trap burger, guys. you see it from across the bar. It piques your interest. You walk up to it. You take a sniff. It smells real. You go take a taste. It tastes real. And you take it home and you unwrap it. Yeah, it's got a fucking dick. Worse, it's soy. It's a trap, guys. Actually, one of the...
Oh my god, it was in my mouth!
Oh my god. And you liked it. Moral of the story, guys, the Impossible Whopper is gay. Actually, one of the analysis I was looking at when I was reading up on this was somebody said they were trying to figure out who would actually the Impossible Whopper be for if it was going to give you all these feminizing hormones, and they're like, actually, I think their prime audience should be traps. This would very much help traps achieve the outlook that they wanna have, that they're going for.
You heard it here, folks. If you're a trap, then eat the Impossible Burger. Probably one of the best parts of the story, to repeat myself, is something that we noticed when we were going through BK's corporate website. What we are about to tell you, we have not heard anywhere else. So consider this a Dire Wolf Media exclusive. According to BK, if you want a truly meat-free option, then there is a non-broiler method of preparation is available upon request. What does this mean? 1. If it means they are preparing the Impossible Whopper with the same equipment as the real burgers, meaning the little particles of meat contaminating their vegan masterpieces. So little bits of meat are contaminating their vegan masterpieces, which means that 2 little particles of soy must also be contaminated, and the regular Whoppers.
I'm gonna reread that.
I'm so sorry. Fell apart there. So, can I try to say it by summarizing what you're trying to say? You're saying that these Impossible Burgers are cooked on the same surfaces as the regular Whoppers, so the real meat is contaminating the fake meat, and the soy is contaminating the real meat. So it doesn't matter what burger you order, you're still getting the soy. It's all a trap.
Yes. So yeah, not only is the Impossible Burger possibly unsafe to eat, basically all the burgers at Burger King are now contaminated with estrogen mimickers. So nothing at Burger King is safe to eat. Except for those little hash brown rounds. Those things are fucking delicious. I love those.
I stop at Burger King occasionally to get coffee, and just coffee. They know me so well. I'm the only guy that just yells into the microphone they have there. Is large black coffee, and then drives off. Don't wait for
They're like,
response.
oh, it's the one guy who's not a soy boy.
It's that one really angry guy who just wants coffee fast in the morning.
You want coffee fast and you go to Burger King? What is wrong with you? I mean, maybe it's different where you live. I don't know.
It is the best option sometimes if I fail to get it on the way out of the house, or if I'm out of coffee in the house. That's basically the scenario. If I run out of coffee in the house, I will stop by Burger King on the way to work.
Burger King's not got good coffee.
They don't, but I'm desperate at that point.
So desperate that Dyer is willing to maybe eat something that was prepared with the same equipment.
Unless they're making soy burgers in my coffee cup, I'm fine.
I don't know, Dyer. You want to take that risk?
A little scared now.
Yeah, maybe you'll think twice. I don't know. I think being like within smelling distance of a Burger King is maybe dangerous at this point.
So was this last story 42 minutes as well, or what?
What's that?
How long was his last story? Another 42 minutes or what?
No, we actually slammed through that in a good 20 minutes, which is actually surprising because it was like 3 times longer than the previous story.
Weird.
Fantastic.
We're consistent. Let's move on.
Alrighty. All right, so our next story is New York Times has a fake Trump regret story. So we've had fake news, we've had fake beef, and now we have fake Trump derangement. Let's watch. Oh, doggy.
My name is Mark Graham, and I lived in Erie all my life. Basically, it's a blue-collar town. It started off large manufacturing base, a lot of water shipping, rum running back in the days. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016 because I thought he would make a change.
Did he make a change?
Not for the good. Donald Trump only plays favorites for people like himself, not Erie, Pennsylvania. The president's a bully because it's his way or no way. He doesn't understand life around here. He thinks he's the smartest person ever. I don't think people believe that. I don't believe Donald Trump is on the side of the American people. I think he's on his own side. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself to beware of the changes that President Trump has made. Voting for Donald Trump in 2020 would be like putting gasoline on a fire.
AB PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
So dramatic.
Okay. The only problem, Mark didn't vote in 2016.
What?
The liar.
Are you kidding me? I felt so heartfelt. How is that possible?
No, he's completely a liar and a horrible person. A fact uncovered by the local area news team that spent about 5 minutes fact-checking the Pennsylvania voter rolls. They did this after the ad, just to say that they had begun running in early November as part of a $5 million ad campaign by Democrat Political Action Committee American Bridge.
Mark was discovered in 2018 when he participated in a focus group investigating Republicans that were willing to vote for a Democrat congressman. It was during the discussion with the group that Mark first said his famous line, quote, "Re-electing Trump would be like throwing gasoline on a fire," which is what we just heard him say in that ad.
Right. This set off a chain of events that included a New York Times piece about Mark and his regret, in quotes, in voting for Trump. This piece was then seen by American Bridge, who then contacted him to create this commercial. At any step along the way, these organizations could have done the fact-checking necessary to see if this guy was a fraud. But this was likely a case of a story being morally correct and the fact being irrelevant.
Since local area news, Jet24, broke that Mark's story was fake, the Times, the New York Times, has issued a correction on their story. But American Bridge, as of yesterday morning, which I tried to figure out if there was an update this morning and I couldn't find one, American Bridge has not removed the ad nor responded to any questions about the situation. The state of Pennsylvania, the GOP leader in that state, said that he had asked for the ad to be taken down in its entirety because the entire premise of the ad is false and debunked. But personally, I'm not actually too concerned about this situation. In the end, the story has become that people who think Orange Man is bad are likely to think that Orange Man is bad, and that the Dems and the New York Times, if they want to dump millions of dollars into rediscovering that, you know, what I just said, that the people who think Orange Man is bad think that Orange Man is bad, you know, more power to them. You know, if you want to keep wasting money like that, go for it. It's a safe way for them to disperse energy on something that is not moving them closer to their goals. So
you remember when
go for
AOC? Remember when AOC was questioning Zuckerberg about what would they do if someone would to dare publish a fake, false news story on their website, and would they take it down? It was against. Yeah. So this is a fake story. I wonder if Facebook's taking it down. Probably not.
I want to see. I want to see whoever's at the head of this pack, like, go to Congress and like have AOC question them.
Yeah,
that'd be eye opening for everybody.
Yeah, this guy is a pathetic little bitch, by the way, having to lie about. He's not even a voter, so who cares about his opinion? First off, you can't complain about someone when you didn't even vote. You didn't have another candidate you voted for. You were just too busy, I guess, with all the other important things you're doing in their life. Maybe lying about other things. You pathetic piece of shit.
Yeah, there was some reports that he's been interviewed since, and he kind of said that. He saw this as kind of his opportunity to get some attention, and that was kind of his main motivation in spreading the lie.
Wow.
He wasn't really, he wasn't really ever anybody who would have supported Trump to begin with, which is why I said, the story is really that somebody who used to think that Orange Man was bad still thinks that Orange Man is bad, which is not surprising to anybody.
Well, gosh, people love people who just want attention. That'll win people over. I just wanted attention. Oh yeah, people love that.
No, but I love it. If you're a Democrat and you want attention, please pretend that you are a Republican that is regretful about voting for Trump. Contact all of your Democrat super PACs and get them to dump $1 million into a commercial for you.
It's
please.
not like left-wing media can lose any more credibility. Yeah. They have nothing left to lose. You're just kind of dancing on their grave at this point, which I'm fine with. Is kind of funny for me to laugh at.
Yes, I love seeing the Democrats wasting money on stuff, please, because they have so much extra money to waste when they've got all that debt to deal with.
But the stats, they actually have done studies on people who voted on the first election and have polled them since, and so far, the people who voted for Trump are unanimously wanting to vote for him now, and he's also gained people who were anti-Trumpers who now support him. And he's gained people who were Democrats who voted against him, who now vote for him because they see he's actually done a lot of great things and he kept his word and he wasn't the racist Nazi Hitler guy they said he was.
And the fact that that there were so many Democrat organizations that ran with this particular story so quickly without doing any fact checking, which I think what we all know, they wanted the story to be true. I think that's just self-evident. But they were also looking for it. They had a preconceived notion of a story that they wanted to tell, and they went out and searched for somebody who would fit that mold. They were trying to reverse engineer the story, and they found this guy. Now, he had turned out to be fake. But had they found another one, even one, who was maybe a real one, or maybe just another person faking it, they would have also had stories about them. I mean, this would have very easily been a series about people who regretted voting for Trump, and it wasn't that. This was the only guy that they could find, and it turns out that he was a liar. So I think to the idea that the New York Times and these Democrat political action committees have been dumping money into trying to find that one person who regrets voting for Trump, and this was the best that they could come up with, that has to be a very, very tiny amount of people who that is actually true for. It's got to be astronomically tiny.
On the flip side, we got a Democrat Senate, a House representative who moved to the Republican side, so there's some regret there.
Yeah, sounds like it. I bet, I don't think that the Republicans could even put together a commercial about all of the people that regret voting for the last sweep of Democrats that went in to Congress, and they completely broke up their promises and they went for impeachment after they said that they weren't going to do that they were actually going to try and get some stuff done. I mean,
you can make a 24-hour long video of just people regretting AOC.
You'd never be able to get through that. There'd be so many of them. We hear about them all the time, and you just wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to narrow it down to like one person or even a handful of people, because there would be thousands of people who regret doing that. And they're gonna, they're not gonna get a little video ad spot like this guy did, but they're gonna get their time in November 2020. That's for
the
sure.
Voting box.
Yep.
Booth, rather, not a box. We don't vote in boxes anymore.
I was lied to.
All right, next story.
Yes. All right. We'll be done with the story in like 3 seconds. We have an exponential decay in the amount of time it's taking to do these stories. All right. Cryptocurrency. Next story. Okay. So let's see here. So some people think cryptocurrency is the future. The future, I tell you. Others say it is too risky and volatile to be an investment. However, no matter how you feel about cryptocurrency, would you call it dangerous?
Are you in danger of losing money you invested? That's about true for every other investment. But that's it.
Well, that's true about dollars as well.
Right.
Well, YouTube disagrees with you, Dyer. We have already discussed previously how YouTube has started purging, quote, undesirable channels from their platform. The news category added to their list, or the newest category added to their list, is content focusing on advocating for cryptocurrency. They have reportedly deleted hundreds of informative cryptocurrency videos from channels like Chris Dunn TV, Crypto Tips, and BTC Sessions, as well as many others.
Cheese Fox calling us undesirables kind of like reflects back to like the Nazis and trying to in internment camps.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say us. I mean, it's really more your channel, so I think it's more of a you thing.
Oh,
I'm clearly
first they came for Dyer, and Fox did nothing.
Yeah, I kind of liked doing the show by myself.
We were so much faster. We were on top. So, one YouTube spokesman suggested that they may have just made a mistake. He said that he said that YouTube had made the wrong call, but I doubt they really made any call at all, other than to add certain new words and phrases to their algorithm that resulted in those videos being labeled harmful, dangerous, or exploitative. We could assume malice. We know that they have purposely targeted conservative content before. We know that the Google leadership has been pretty hostile towards conservatives in their own ranks. It's hardly beyond the pale to say that they might target other groups. That said, we could also easily assume it's incompetence.
I like that idea. Lots of incompetence. It would probably be a combination of both as well. The YouTube spokesman went on to say this about crypto videos that were deleted. Quote, with the massive volume of videos on our site, sometimes we make the wrong call. No shit. When it's brought to our attention that a video has been removed mistakenly, we act quickly to reinstate it. We also offer uploaders the ability to appeal removers, and we will re-review the content.
If this statement sounds or looks familiar, that may be because it's nearly identical to YouTube's canned response to previous times, the many previous times, when they have accidentally purged content due to changes in their algorithm. It seems like a reoccurring problem they refuse to learn from. You might call that insanity. YouTube spokesman also verified that YouTube had not made any changes to their policies related to cryptocurrencies.
Maybe they should make an AI to manage YouTube. I mean, at least the AI is capable of learning.
Wait, an AI to manage the AI?
Yes, of course. What could go wrong with that? So YouTube went on to reinstate many of the videos that were deleted. One of the creators that was affected was Chris Dunn, who runs an investment education channel with 200,000 subscribers. Mr. Dunn contacted YouTube one day after his videos were reinstated to report that YouTube had deleted those same videos again. They'd re-deleted them. And at least one more time after that. So he got re-deleted. That's aggressive. Chris is stuck in a constant cycle of having his videos that YouTube says do not violate the YouTube policy, then being deleted by the YouTube AI. Him appealing them and then having them reinstated just to have the AI come by and cap him once again. Some of his affected videos aren't even related to cryptocurrency. They call that splash damage. This could be happening based on how YouTube's algorithm associates certain innocuous words with harmful content, inadvertently based on videos flagged for other reasons that are then confirmed by human reviewers. So there's been a lot of discussion as to whether or not this current, I forget what the apocalypse, there was some kind of like, everybody always like makes up like a word with like a apocalypse as like the suffix. And I forget what it was for this one, but I know it was clever. I don't know if you picked up on that, Dyer, in this article somewhere. So let me know if you did. I wish I could remember it though. But there was a lot of discussion that there's alternative platforms like Minds, and there's some others that are trying to bootstrap the YouTube model using cryptocurrency as a way of monetizing rather than actual U.S. currency. And it's a good strategy, if you're not, trying to compete with a monopoly like YouTube. And so the idea, the kind of conspiracy theory is that YouTube's seeing this, and so that's why they're flagging all these cryptocurrency videos, trying to make sure that cryptocurrency kind of gets destroyed. I don't think that YouTube, and its big parent Google, I don't think that they're big. I don't think that they're big enough to stop crypto. So I don't think that's a reason to disbelieve the conspiracy theory, but I also think that it's maybe some evidence against it. But that's not to say that Google's not willing to try and bite off more than it can chew. And so the other idea behind it is that if it's not a targeted attack on cryptocurrency, that it's accidental. It's some kind of tweak to the algorithm that got updated, and for some reason it got hungry for crypto this week and it started going after them. As for why is it continuously going back and deleting these videos that have been reinstated again by a manual or review cycle over and over and over again, and doing a kind of loop of getting it flagged, getting it manually checked, getting it reinstated, getting it flagged again. In my opinion, as somebody who works with AI in my job, the current AI and the type of AI that YouTube's working with, you kind of got to think about it like a dog with a bone. Once it gets an idea in its head, and the idea that YouTube put in its head was that there must have been some kind of word that was bad, or some kind of concept or linkage that was bad that got associated with Bitcoin or blockchain. And cryptocurrencies. Once the AI kind of gets that idea in its head, it's really hard to get it to kind of unlearn that. And so you really got to reset it and have it retrain on all the data sets that you're working with. And so what I think probably happened is, again, they did some kind of tweak with what they wanted to start flagging. As we all know, there's a bunch of new YouTube terms of service coming online this month, and then a whole bunch coming online on January 1st. And so they're probably getting ready for that, getting ready to purge a lot of stuff. And so, whether or not blockchain is on that list specifically, or if it's kind of, on the fringes of it, that which is probably more likely. I would imagine that blockchain is on the fringes of things like libertarian, as far, anarcho type stuff. I imagine it's very tightly knitted to those types of communities, and those are the type of communities that YouTube's looking to get off the platform.
Exactly. So basically, the extremist ANCAP styles people make videos that get flagged and get removed, and then confirmed by reviewers that they should be removed from YouTube. Those groups of people regularly talk about cryptocurrency. So every time those videos are banned, words they use in those videos are given a level of association to that content. And the more times that they are deleted in videos that are not expressly about them, but are also violate the YouTube's very vague rules for other reasons, they start getting associated as violent content, even though they're only tangentially related. ANCAPs also like cryptocurrency, and ANCAPs might talk about things about killing cops, right? So when you talk about killing cops, your videos get removed, right?
And cats
but then
would never talk about that every single
all
video.
the fucking time. So now you have cryptocurrency associated due to, on the algorithm as being related to killing cops. The computer doesn't know better. They just know that there's a strong correlation between these two terms and that they, when together, are banned. Thus, it by itself should be banned. That's how the algorithm works. And I can't blame the algorithm. It's kind of the owner's fault. They fed the algorithm shit, and now the algorithm puts out shit. You are what you eat, as far as the algorithm's concerned.
Yep. So this is very similar to it was about 2 months ago. We had a one of the dire discusses. We did a really long form review of why the YouTube algorithm was seeming to go after LGBT content with a very hard bias against LGBT terms, demonetizing them en masse. And during that review, I encourage you to go back and try to find that episode. We've got it posted, I think, on Dire Radio probably. What we went through was basically how the algorithm works. Is it doesn't understand words the way that you and I would, but when it's analyzing a video, it needs to be able to figure out what these words mean. And the way that it does that is it words that are in the same sentences and the sentences that are in the same video, it kind of starts building a network of those. And there's so much YouTube content for it to learn off of that after, doing that to millions, billions of hours of video, it can kind of build up. It doesn't really intuitively understand what a word means the way that you or I would, but it knows that, certain words are related to certain other words in common. And so when YouTube was going through and trying to hit political content, a lot of those political words are cross-referenced or very, very tight correlation with LGBT words because they naturally intersect when talking about culture war stuff. And so when YouTube was trying to get rid of political content, like conservative content, that naturally polluted the algorithm to thinking that also LGBT terms, because they're highly associated, that those were also bad. So this is probably another case of that where whatever terms YouTube is looking to go after, going after hard next year, as soon as January 1st ticks over, these crypto terms, those must have had or very likely had a high association with terms that YouTube's now blacklisted. And so the algorithm was just doing what the algorithm does. It was trying to learn. It was trying to do its best. And it said, okay, well, these words have really bad associations or, really bad, bad terms. YouTube doesn't want this on the platform. And these crypto terms are, 1 degree of separation away from these bad terms. So crypto is probably bad too. And once you get that, and like I was trying to say earlier, the algorithm's kind of like a dog with a bone. Once it gets an idea in its head, it's really hard to untrain it on that idea unless you do a full reset. And a full reset's very expensive because you have to retrain the entire algorithm. And so once it gets that idea in its head, it's going to just kind of keep hammering it. And so the behavior that I, as an AI researcher, would expect to see is that it would go after these videos once, you would put those videos back up, that the fact that those videos were undeleted by a manual review, that would update the algorithm a little bit, but it must have had a very, very strong bias against these terms. And that's why it went after them again. So that one round of training saying, hey, no, this was wrong. And said, okay, well, I'll do a little bit of a lighter bias against these videos. It still must have been so strong that it went back after him again and again and again and again. And it's just gonna keep doing that. And there's not a good solution for YouTube.
Exacerbating this, there's also the one theory suggesting that to explain the odd occurrence would be that someone may be falsely flagging some of this content to further confuse the algorithm. And that is a separate a bot that operates with flags. So it's possible that they have someone who's flagging this content, and then the bot is programmed to automatically delete videos after a certain number of flags. There are unique flags. Under both explanations, though, for the channel being harassed, it is YouTube's automated system that is at fault. Their mismanagement of their platform and their reliance on poorly configured AI has created a chaotic, unreliable, and nearly unusable platform for independent content creators. Which is why we're getting off YouTube.
By getting off, we mean probably getting purged.
Yeah.
So it's like Terminator.
Yes. It's just a matter of time before they delete our channel. By the way, you guys have failed to floor me, so I'm going to take a shot to mock you guys in your
I don't
failure.
know. I thought that Burger King story was I thought that got you on the floor. I thought that blew your mind.
I'm still here.
I love that you it's even better that I imagine that you were gonna like that story, but it was even better that you did it drunk, because I think that it was like a lot more like awe-inspiring to you, like, holy crap, what the hell's going on here?
I'm gonna take one shot showing you that I was able to do one more shot more than you guys. That was incoherent.
Dyer can do more shots than he can string syllables together for a long word.
I can still stay in my seat for one more shot than you challenged me.
I love that your like drunk talk isn't really slurring words. It's just like skipping syllables entirely, but still trying to read the word. Like you read it with decent clarity. It's just you've skipped like very key syllables.
I also skipped it mentally. Like, I read through that paragraph, like, I have no idea what the fuck I just read. What was that? I can't even save it. I missed some part of it. Anyways, so we're going to say goodbye to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please go down to the description and find us on DLive. There's a link to DLive there, and follow us there on DLive, because that's where you can, follow us for the rest of time, because the YouTube channel is going to go away. You're going to lose us. We're going to be gone. Dead. Except for on DLive. So find us on DLive. You can keep following our content there if you enjoyed it. If you don't, then, well, I'm sorry. Have a good day. I'm going to turn off YouTube now. If you want to keep watching the rest of the show, the other half of the show